Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a mystery that has plagued a generation of fans, the cancellation of the beloved early 2000s Teen Titans animated series. This show, a beacon of action, humor, and surprisingly deep storylines, was abruptly taken from us after a mere 5 seasons. Now you might be thinking, but Seemly shows get canceled all the time. What's the big deal? And you wouldn't be wrong, but the circumstances surrounding Teen Titans' demise are shrouded in mystery and speculation. The show was, by all accounts, a hit. It garnered critical acclaim, a devoted fan base, and even spawned a successful line of merchandise. So, what really went down behind the scenes? Was it a simple case of declining ratings, or were there larger forces at play? Over the next few chapters, we'll be putting on our detective hats and analyzing all the evidence from network decisions to production costs, and even delve into the murky waters of fan theories. Get ready, theorists, because we're about to unravel the truth behind one of the most baffling cancellations in animation history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single clue on our quest to uncover why Teen Titans was really canceled. Our first clue in the case of the canceled Titans lies at the doorstep of Cartoon Network itself. Now, networks like Cartoon Network and their parent companies, in this case Warner Brothers, are constantly reassessing their programming lineups. It's a cutthroat business, and they're always looking for the next big hit. One major factor influencing these decisions is viewership demographics. Networks want to appeal to specific age groups and interests to maximize their ad revenue. It's possible that Cartoon Network at the time was looking to shift its target demographic, and sadly, Teen Titans' core audience may not have aligned with their new strategy. Another possibility is the constant desire for fresh content. Networks often feel the pressure to introduce new shows and ideas to keep their lineup exciting and attract new viewers. This often comes at the expense of older shows, even those with dedicated fan bases. Remember, a network's loyalty ultimately lies with its bottom line, and new shows often mean a chance to revitalize viewership and merchandise sales. Could this hunger for something new have spelled doom for our beloved Titans? It's certainly a possibility, but to crack this case wide open, we need to dig deeper. Stick with me, theorists, because things are about to get interesting. Now let's talk merch, because in the world of children's entertainment, merchandise sales are a huge indicator of a show's success. Think about it. Action figures, backpacks, lunchboxes, these aren't just cool collectibles. They're a gold mine for networks and studios, and Teen Titans was no stranger to merchandise. From what we know, the show did have a dedicated line of toys and products. We've all seen remnants on eBay and in our parents' basements, but the question is, were those sales strong enough to satisfy the network executives? While the show enjoyed a passionate fan base, it's possible that the merchandise sales didn't quite reach the lofty expectations set by Cartoon Network. Remember, networks often invest heavily in merchandise production and marketing, and if those investments don't yield a substantial return, it can raise red flags. So, could underwhelming merchandise sales have contributed to Teen Titans' downfall? It's certainly a piece of the puzzle, but to get the full picture, we need to consider all the angles. Don't touch that remote, theorists, because we're just getting started. Now, let's talk demographics. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you love a show, it matters who else loves the show. Networks like Cartoon Network have specific target audiences. Teen Titans premiered in 2003. By 2006, the target audience were teens. The kids who started watching were aging out of the demographic. Cartoon Network wanted to attract new viewers, often appealing to a younger demographic. Younger viewers mean a new generation of fans and buyers. So while Teen Titans battled villains, it faced a battle against shifting demographics. the network felt Teen Titans wasn't the right fit for their evolving audience. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You can try to force it, but it just won't fit. And in television, a bad fit can mean cancellation. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the reality. This isn't to say Teen Titans was too mature, but its audience matured beyond the network's ideal demographic. Graduating, you're ready for different experiences, and sometimes those experiences don't align with the old ones. All right, theorists, let's talk money, specifically the high cost of creating a show like Teen Titans, because believe it or not, animation doesn't come cheap. Producing high quality animation, especially for action-packed shows like Teen Titans, requires a small army of talented artists, animators, writers, and voice actors. And those talented folks deserve to be paid for their hard work. Each episode of Teen Titans was packed with dynamic fight scenes, detailed backgrounds, and special effects, all of which added up in terms of production costs. Think about those epic battles with Slade, Trigon, or even just the everyday training sequences. These things take time, effort, and a whole lot of money to create. Every frame of animation, every sound effect, every voiceover session contributes to the overall cost of the show. And while Teen Titans had a dedicated fan base and generated revenue through merchandise and licensing, it's possible that the production costs simply outweighed the profits. It's a harsh reality, but networks are businesses and they need to make sure that their investments are worthwhile. It's like running a lemonade stand, but instead of lemons and sugar, you're dealing with animation software and voice recording booths. If the cost of producing each glass of lemonade is higher than what people are willing to pay, you're going to end up in the red. And world of television, being in the red is a surefire way to get your show canceled. It's a classic case of the bottom line, and unfortunately, sometimes creativity and passion aren't enough to outweigh the cold, hard numbers. Let's dive into the minds of the creators. Sometimes the decision to end a show comes from the creative team itself. It's like a band calling it quits after an amazing album. They want to go out on a high note. The creators of Teen Titans might have felt they had told the stories they wanted to tell. 5 seasons is a good run, exploring themes, developing characters, and delivering memorable moments. Ending on their own terms allowed a satisfying conclusion, tying up loose ends. Teen Titans gave us iconic villains, complex relationships, and mature themes. They covered a lot of ground. The creators felt they had accomplished their goals and didn't want to dilute their work. Ending a show is never easy, but it shows commitment to quality and legacy, like a chef closing a beloved restaurant at its peak. All good things must end, and they'd rather go out on top. And that, my friends, is a testament to creative integrity. Now you might be thinking, but Teen Titans was a hit show, everyone loved it, and you wouldn't be wrong. The show enjoyed a solid run during its original broadcast. However, networks don't just look at overall popularity, they obsess over week-to-week ratings. They want consistent, preferably growing numbers. Think of it like a superhero losing their powers. Unfortunately, that's what we see with Teen Titans. While it started strong, viewership saw a gradual decline. This isn't necessarily a death knell, but it's a red flag. Their job is to ensure profitability. Dwindling viewership doesn't scream cash cow. It's like a sidekick not living up to their potential. Now, I know what you're thinking, but why the decline? What could have caused it? Increased competition, changes in schedules, or viewers growing out of the demographic. Whatever the reason, the dip in ratings raised eyebrows at Cartoon Network, giving a trail of clues for the villain. Eventually, they're gonna notice. So, while Teen Titans was popular, fluctuating ratings could have been a factor in its cancellation. It's a classic case of it's not personal, it's business. And unfortunately, for fans, sometimes the business side of things can eclipse even the most beloved of shows. But hold on, because ratings are just one piece of the puzzle. We've got a whole lot more to unpack, and things are about to get really interesting. All right, theorists, let's talk about the circle of life, television style. Networks like Cartoon Network are always hunting for the next big thing. To make way for fresh faces, they make tough decisions about their lineup. It's like squeezing another superhero into an already crowded team photo. Older shows aren't necessarily bad or unpopular. It's about keeping content fresh and exciting. Think of it like a superhero team getting a new recruit. It shakes things up and keeps the audience engaged. Engagement equals viewership, and viewership equals advertising dollars. So when Teen Titans was in its final season, Cartoon Network was likely gearing up for new shows. These new shows might have had a different target demographic or animation style. Introducing new shows creates pressure to free up space, often meaning saying goodbye to familiar faces. It's tough, especially when it's a show you love, but television is constantly evolving and change is inevitable. It's like a sidekick becoming a hero, bittersweet but necessary for growth. New shows pave the way for new stories, characters, and a new generation of viewers. Theorists, let's talk about endings, specifically the ending of Teen Titans. The show wrapped up its 5th season with a pretty definitive conclusion. Some might even say it was a natural stopping point for the series, but could this sense of closure have actually contributed to its cancellation? Every good story needs a satisfying ending. It's the culmination of all the build-up, the payoff for all the emotional investment. It's like trying to force a superhero to keep fighting after they've saved the day. This isn't to say there weren't more stories to tell in the Teen Titans universe, but ending the show on a high note could have been the most satisfying choice. Perhaps it wasn't a cancellation, but deliberate choice to end on a high note, like a superhero hanging up their cape after a successful career, a bittersweet ending. Now, let's talk about competition, because in the mid-2000s, the landscape of animated television was changing. Shows like Avatar, The Last Airbender were exploding in popularity, and for good reason. Avatar offered a sprawling narrative, complex characters, and a unique blend of anime-inspired action and Eastern philosophy. This isn't to say Teen Titans lacked those things, but Avatar tapped into a growing audience hungry for more mature themes and serialized storytelling in their cartoons. It became a cultural phenomenon, garnering massive viewership and merchandise sales, setting a new standard for animated shows. And the surge in popularity for shows like Avatar put pressure on other networks and creators to step up their game. Suddenly, the bar for success in the animation world had been raised, and not every show could keep up. So while Teen Titans was riding high on its own merits, the game was changing. The competition was becoming fiercer, and for Cartoon Network, choosing which shows to champion, especially in terms of marketing and future seasons, became a high-stakes game. And here's the thing about Teen Titans, it resonated with a very specific audience. While Cartoon Network was traditionally geared towards a younger demographic, Teen Titans, with its anime influences, complex characters, and serialized storylines, attracted a significant teenage and even adult fan base. This might seem like a good thing, and in many ways, it meant the show was breaking boundaries and reaching a wider audience. But for Cartoon Network, it presented a potential dilemma. Their marketing strategies and programming decisions were largely based on appealing to a younger demographic, the key demographic for toy sales and merchandise. A show popular with teenagers and adults might not necessarily translate into the same level of merchandise sales as a show explicitly designed for a younger audience. This isn't to say older viewers don't buy merchandise, but the target demographic for toys and lunchboxes tends to skew younger. So While Teen Titans enjoyed a devoted fan base, its appeal beyond the core demographic might have ironically played a role in its cancellation. It's a classic case of a show being too good for its time, ahead of the curve in terms of attracting a broader audience. So there you have it, the untold story of why Teen Titans was canceled, from network decisions and merchandise sales to the changing landscape of animation and the complexities of target demographics. It's a tale with twists and turns worthy of the show itself. But even though Teen Titans ended, its impact on animation is undeniable. It proved that cartoons could tell complex stories, explore mature themes, and still be incredibly entertaining, and that's something worth celebrating. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Teen Titans, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more content. Let us know in the comments what other shows you'd like us to explore. See you next time.